Mongwana Nimwalepo Fukenjane Kleklas, welcome to Africa Good Morning, your portal into Africa's potent stories. We begin in Tanzania, where senior Chadema opposition leaders walk free after weeks in detention after a deadly protest that shook the nation. Then in Kenya, President William Ruto champions the people's will as the essence of democracy amid regional scrutiny and domestic dissent. Later, global banking expert Sobnendu Mohanty explores how artificial intelligence is transforming the financial workforce. Our Botswana report with Rorisang Mokgojwe follows before we close with an insightful AGM Spotlight interview featuring Ongopolo Mining's country manager, George Kamati. Watch AGM on DSTV 285, GoTV 25, ntvafrica.my.na, and NTV Africa on YouTube. That's Africa with a K. My name is Ashwin Berry. Top story shortly.
Life is unpredictable, and one needs to be protected against any eventuality. Get Santam legal access from as little as 50 Namibian dollars a month for when you find yourself in need of legal representation due to civil cases, criminal prosecution, and family matters such as divorce, child maintenance, and custody. It also covers labor disputes, disciplinary hearings, and unfair dismissal or retrenchment. With Santam Legal Access, you'll receive free legal advice on almost every legal aspect, whether the specific matter is covered by your policy or not. For true peace of mind and legal protection when you need it most, call us on 061 292 8000. Santam. This is freedom.
All right, let's get into the top stories on Africa Good Morning, starting in Tanzania. 4 senior Chadema opposition leaders have been released on bail after their arrest in connection with violent protests that followed Tanzania's disputed general election last month. The unrest marked the country's most serious political crisis in decades. Chadema and some human rights activists allege that more than 1,000 people were killed by security forces, a figure the government of President Samia Suluhu Hassan dismissed as exaggerated. Those free include party vice chairman John Heche, who was detained in October and questioned on terrorism allegations. This was before the election, and Deputy Secretary General Amani Golugwa, arrested over the weekend. Their release follows treason charges laid against 145 people, with over 170 more accused of other protest-related crimes. Chadema leader Tundu Lissu remains charged with treason, his exclusion from the ballot having sparked the demonstrations. Hassan's government has been accused of widespread abductions and suppression of dissent, while the African Union said the election failed democratic standards. Hassan insists the vote was fair, defending her human rights record despite pending findings from an earlier probe she commissioned. Next door, Kenyan President William Ruto has declared that the country's democracy is rooted in the will of its citizens, insisting it is not about a person but about the people. Speaking to Al Jazeera in Doha, he dismissed regional concerns about democratic decline, saying Kenya's democratic character is embedded in its national DNA. Ruto contrasted Kenya's political environment with that of its neighbors, suggesting such overwhelming election results as Tanzania's 98% win would be impossible at home. On Uganda, he said democracy across Africa remains a work in progress, positioning Kenya as a front runner. His remarks come as his administration faces domestic criticism over police crackdowns on youth-led protests against taxes, corruption, and living costs. Human rights groups have linked these operations to deaths and abductions, which Ruto dismissed as exaggerated, asserting rogue officers are being disciplined. He also defended his economic reforms, claiming Kenya's economy has become Africa's 6th largest under his leadership, and emphasizing the country's openness as a democratic anchor in the region. Now, Sopnendu Mohanty, CEO of global advisory firm GFTN and former city executive, says artificial intelligence will profoundly alter the banking workforce, hitting back office roles hardest. After nearly 2 decades at Citi and later serving as Singapore's first chief fintech officer, Mohanty explained that front, middle and back offices will experience AI differently. The front office focused on clients is expected to grow with opportunities in investment banking, sales and trading. The middle office, overseeing risk management and compliance, will see productivity improve through AI-enhanced tools. However, back office positions handling IT, HR and trade settlements face significant automation-driven reductions. Mohanty said efficiency gains will shrink headcounts as repetitive tasks are automated in a much sharper way. Major banks echo this outlook. JP Morgan executives have already predicted workforce cuts, with its operations team expected to reduce by 10%. Despite fears of job losses, Mohanty and industry leaders agree AI will also create new roles, transforming the nature rather than the necessity of human work in financial institutions. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. Shortly, we'll return and we're going to be having a look at what Rorisang Mohojwe has brought for us from Botswana. But prior to that, it's the weather. It's time for us to talk to Rorisang Mohojwe as she delivers the Botswana report. Dumela, Rorisang.
Dumelang, and thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here on Africa Good Morning.
Always good to have you on the show. Now, in your first story, leader of opposition Dumelang Saleshando says the opposition will support President Duma Boko's green energy cleanup campaign and education modernization drives, but only if the government delivers on past promises.
Saleshando, who's also president of the Botswana Congress Party, said the opposition would support or would back key initiatives such as government efforts to advance green technology, to modernize education infrastructure, as well as to launch a national cleanup campaign. As he says, these are necessary and positive steps towards national progress. He, however, criticized Boko for failing to deliver on some of the pledges that he made during his first State of the National address last year when the UDC took over power. And these includes commitments of the first 100 days of the UDC-led administration. Now, he did say that the opposition remains ready to collaborate on policies that are for the public good, but they would continue to hold government accountable for unmet promises as well as for delays in implementation. And his remarks came right after the presentation of the State of the Nation address, and this was his reaction.
Certain things that we agree with, maybe let's start there. I've always said we will support government's efforts on matters of green energy. I think they are coming out with more clearer plans around green energy. We will support that. We will also support the efforts around education and modernizing the infrastructure. We will support the campaign around making Botswana clean. I mean, I represent a tourism town, and cleanliness is a big thing for a tourism destination. But you know, the one thing I've observed about this is the second State of the Nation. The president has forgotten about the pledges he made only last year. Remember, he also made certain pledges under the first 100 days. He pledged that he's going to fast-track infrastructure development within 100 days. He pledged that he's going to come up with economic incentives for young people within 100 days. He said he's going to strengthen anti-corruption institutions within 100 days. He said he's going to open up public expenditure for scrutiny within 100 days. None of those things have happened after a full year. Remember his theme today, or rather, last story, the first 100 days performance. And you can see what you're within 100 days. One step at a time. One step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's going to be a long 5 years. Thank you very much.
All right, as we're moving on, tension is growing between President Duma Boko and Botswana's media after he dismissed most local journalism as badly written.
Battle lines have been drawn between Botswana's media and President Duma Boko after journalists found themselves under attack by the president during a recent media briefing. Now, this media briefing was meant to announce a strategic partnership deal entered into by the government of Botswana and Turkey regarding energy security and infrastructure, as Botswana has been facing power cuts of recent. And so the president used that public platform as an opportunity to attack local journalists and the media fraternity. He criticized local journalism as, and I quote, badly written with bad grammar, and he further questioned reporters' professionalism. Now, these remarks follow his earlier claims that 90% of Botswana's media reports are fake, and he said so without presenting any sort of evidence. Now, the Botswana media fraternity is up in arms about the president's remarks and unwarranted attacks, saying that he should not make such blanketed statements without presenting any sort of evidence, as this risks eroding public confidence in the media. Now, the Botswana Editors Forum, as well as the Media Institute of Southern Africa, Botswana, have condemned the president's statement, warning that such attacks threaten press freedom and democratic accountability. They have, however, acknowledged that the media fraternity is not immune to errors and can err, and so both organizations have urged the president to instead engage constructively with journalists in order to uphold media freedom and rebuild trust instead of publicly vilifying the media. And in response to this, the president said the media must report accurately, ethically and fairly, and this was his response.
There's no contradiction, there's no difference. Yes, sir. I'm the first person to insist on this government being held accountable. Yes, sir. All I'm saying is, let's deal with facts. Okay. Plain facts. Let's report accurately. Let's report ethically and fairly. That's all. You hold the government accountable. You are holding them to certain standards, which if they fall short of, you are perfectly entitled to criticize them.
Many thanks to Rorisang Mohojwe for delivering the Botswana report. Now, as for our AGM Spotlight interview, George Kamati, country manager of Ongo Polo Mining Limited, was in the studio. This is Africa Good Morning, and I have the honor of being joined by Mr. George Kambati, who is the country manager for Ongopolo Mining. And we're going to find out a little bit about what they do and, of course, their mandate in Namibia. Good morning, Mr. Kambati. How are you, sir?
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Good to have you on Africa Good Morning. So, about Consolidated Copper Corp, which is the mother company, and Ongopolo Mining Limited, what is Ongopolo Mining's core focus and how has it evolved over the years?
Before we talk about Ongopolo Mining, I just want to give a brief discussion about Consolidated Copper. It was formed in 2022 by industrial leaders. It's a mining company with the main focus of optimizing existing resources and turn them into production, which includes now Ongopolo Mining, Ongopolo Mining Limited, which is a Namibian operational company. So Ongopolo Mining consists of northern operation, which is the Chudi mine, and central operation, which is Ochihase, Copper Mine, and Matchless. So both are based in Namibia. So these industry leaders, they've been operating a mining company across Africa. They have a very, very vast experience in mining, and they have decided now to take over Ongopolo Mining, and with that they wanted to do a restart. So they've put up a very good team together to make sure that the restart of this Ongopolo Mining will go very smooth. So with the help of this restart, we have trained local engineers, also engaged with local contractors, and for skills development and capacity building to ensure that the mining industry benefits from this. So we have two main goals to this. Number one is to produce and to process copper responsible, to aid with the global energy transition, and also to support Namibia to become a hub for modern and clean mining.
All right. You know, those are two very important terms. You know, modern, we understand that technology is constantly evolving and mining has to be conscious of many more factors than they would have previously, and clean, absolutely necessary, without a doubt. Now, how does your company contribute to Namibia's mining sector and the broader economy at large?
Ongopolo Mining contributes to the country's economy in the mining sector through processing responsible copper. We also contribute through creating employment, through involving local contractors. We also contribute through direct and indirect taxes in the form of royalties. So 75% of our operational budget is spent on local procurement and local contractors. So currently now the mining industry contributes about 12.5% to the country's GDP, and they only employ about, I think, 2% to the total workforce. So our aim is to increase that number once we go into full production.
All right. Now, as we move on, what are your key mineral outputs and where are they in demand globally?
Ongopolo Mining is in the forefront of the new kind of copper supply chain. This chain is to connect the producer directly to the manufacturer, and in order to help the end user who wants copper which is source responsible. So historically, our main mineral always has been copper, with a byproduct of lead, silver, and gold, which is from all our operations historically. Copper has been in demand in the international market, with China being the single large consumer, followed by the US and the EU.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, as we move on, how do you ensure responsible mining? I mean, you touched on this when you said modern and clean, but how do you ensure responsible mining practices and, of course, environmental stewardship, which is usually at the top of everyone's minds once they hear, that there's a mining operation going on?
The mining environment in Namibia, it's always been good for business. And I think that's one of the reasons that Tongopolo Mining is proud to be part of this this business. Currently now, government has introduced beneficiation, local content. So us in Tongopolo Mining, we are aligned with this government policy. So we make sure that we produce our copper responsible. We involve the local business community. We employ locals, especially the locals from the region where the mine are situated. If it's in Tsumeb area, we make sure that we include local people from Tsumeb and the surrounding area. If it's in Windhoek, then we also do the same thing.
All right.
So we are trying to align ourselves with the government policy, where we also have our 75% of our budget is spent locally on procurement and also involve the business community. Yeah. So when it comes to environment, we make sure that we adhere to the environmental policy, Environmental Act, making sure that our EIA, our ECC are submitted on time and we obtain the certification. We also making sure that when we mine, we make sure that we mine responsible. We don't disturb the ecosystem and the environment. So we have programs where we are initiating local community by planting trees, crop production, just to make sure that we also involve the community. As you know, we have a lot of water in the Tsumeb area. So what we did, we created some earth dams so that we can also make sure that the community can also take water, for their productions, crop production and agriculture.
Wow, that's very innovative. What are some of the biggest opportunities and risks in Namibia's mining landscape?
Namibia is strategically positioned to be the supplier of the key minerals like copper, lithium, and uranium, as the world is moving towards renewable energy and battery storage. So our laws make it so conducive to attract investors. We have political stability, economical stability. So this bring all the investors to come to Namibia because of these stabilities. And also with government emphasizing on beneficiation, stopping the export of critical minerals to go out the country without value addition. So this is a good initiative from government to make sure that the money stay within the country. We create enough jobs for our people, and we also encourage mining companies to follow suit, to make sure that they produce their minerals within the country. So at Tongopolo, that's what we're doing. We are adding value, we are processing and producing locally and adding value. to
Yes.
mineral.
And definitely, and just pointing back to some of the initiatives you spoke of, the idea of making sure that you employ people inside the town that you are having your operations, without a doubt that improves the local economies drastically, especially when it comes to mining operations. Now, my last question for you is, what's next for Nkgopholo Mining, and this is in terms of growth and investment?
The most critical point right now is to go into full production. Nkgopholo Mining has been on undercare maintenance, and we've been working around the clock. We have a very good team which was put together by our shareholders. So what we want to start production as soon as possible. Once we start production, we'll contribute to the government, to the country's GDP. We will meet government halfway by creating employment, also by, just adhere to the call of the president, to create employment for our people, and also to contribute to the mining sector, and also to, to bring in, all these struggling business, that are struggling. Currently now, if you look at Tsumeb area, this town is a mining town. So without any mining activities, that town is dead. So people are looking forward, for us to start the production. Currently now we are having a small project where we are processing our old tailings, and we employ a small portion of the community. So once we go into production, I think we're going to increase that number significantly, so that we can make sure that we change the livelihoods of our people, especially in the Tsumeb area.
Thank you, Mr. George Komati.
Thank you very much.
Truly appreciate your presence. So that's been Mr. George Komati, who is the country manager for Nkgopholo Mining, and he's been talking about their activities in Namibia, as well as how assertive they've been with making sure that they involve local communities whilst adhering to Namibia's law, and of course answering the president's call to create employment.